In a smoky roadside bar just off the highway, where the jukebox hums with old country tunes and the air smells of stale beer, a single moment freezes time. A biker, leather-clad and brash, grabs a black woman's shirt, tearing it in a reckless act of bravado, only to reveal a tattoo that stops every voice, every motion, and every heartbeat in the room. Her name was Amara, a woman who carried herself with a quiet strength that didn't demand attention but earned it anyway. She wasn't a regular at Dusty's Tavern, a dive bar nestled on the outskirts of a small town in Nevada, where truckers, bikers, and locals mingled in a haze of cigarette smoke and unspoken rules. Amara had walked in that evening, her boots tapping softly against the worn wooden floor, her dark eyes scanning the room with a calm awareness. She wore a faded denim jacket over a loose black shirt, her braided hair pulled back neatly, and a small leather satchel slung over her shoulder. She wasn't looking for trouble, but trouble, it seemed, had a way of finding her. The bar was crowded that night, the kind of crowd that spilled over from the nearby biker rally, where chrome gleamed under the desert sun and egos roared louder than engines. Dusty's was alive with the clink of glasses, the low rumble of laughter, and the occasional shout over a pool game gone wrong. Amara found a spot at the counter, ordered a whiskey neat, and kept to herself. She wasn't here to make friends or stir up drama. She was passing through, chasing a lead on a job that promised good money, security work, the kind that suited her skills and her need to keep moving. Across the room, a group of bikers held court at a corner table, their leather vests patched with insignias that told stories of loyalty and rebellion. Among them was a man named Colt, a towering figure with a shaved head, a thick beard, and a reputation for starting fights he rarely finished. Colt had been drinking since noon, his voice loud, his gestures wide, his eyes scanning for something or someone to spark his next thrill. When he spotted Amara, sitting alone, her posture relaxed but alert, something in him stirred. Maybe it was the way she didn't flinch when his group's laughter grew rowdy. Maybe it was the way she sipped her drink, unbothered by the chaos around her. Whatever it was, Colt saw a challenge. He pushed up from his chair, his boots heavy on the floor, and sauntered over to the bar. The other patrons didn't notice at first. They were too caught up in their own conversations, their own drinks. But Amara felt the shift in the air, the way the energy in the room tilted when Colt approached. She didn't turn to face him, but her fingers tightened slightly around her glass. "Hey, sweetheart," Colt drawled, leaning against the counter, close enough that she could smell the whiskey on his breath. "You look like you're lost. This ain't your kind of place." Amara's eyes flicked toward him, cool and assessing. "I'm exactly where I mean to be," she said, her voice steady, low, carrying a weight that should have warned him to back off. But Colt wasn't the type to heed warnings. He grinned, a flash of teeth that didn't reach his eyes. "Oh, you got a mouth on you. I like that." He reached out, quick as a snake, and grabbed the edge of her shirt, yanking it hard enough to tear the fabric at the shoulder. The rip was loud, sharper than the jukebox, and the room went quiet. Heads turned. Glasses paused midair. The bartender, a grizzled man named Hank who'd seen too many fights to care, froze behind the counter. Amara didn't flinch. She didn't scream or scramble to cover herself. Instead, she stood slowly, her movements deliberate, and let the torn shirt fall open just enough to reveal the skin beneath. And there, etched across her collarbone and chest, was a tattoo, a sprawling, intricate design of a phoenix rising from flames, its wings spread wide, each feather etched with precision. But it wasn't just the artistry that stopped the room. In the center of the phoenix's chest, in stark black ink, was a symbol, a shield crossed with two swords, the mark of an elite military unit known only to those who'd served or fought alongside them. It was a mark that carried weight, a mark that told a story of sacrifice, survival, and a past that demanded respect. Colt's grin faded. His hand, still holding the torn fabric, froze in midair. The bikers at his table, who'd been chuckling moments before, went silent. One of them, an older man with a scar across his cheek, leaned forward, his eyes narrowing as he recognized the symbol. He'd seen it before years ago, in a war zone far from this dusty bar. He knew what it meant, and he knew better than to cross someone who bore it. Amara's gaze locked onto Colt's, her expression unreadable but her presence commanding. "You done?" she asked, her voice cutting through the silence like a blade. Colt stammered, his bravado crumbling. I didn't mean nothin'," he muttered, dropping the fabric and stepping back. His boots scuffed the floor, and he nearly tripped over a stool in his haste to retreat. The bar remained quiet, the weight of the moment hanging heavy. The older biker with the scar stood,